Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Join me along. Well, I'm trying to scalp a couple of points in a contradictory trading against the grain here. Well, the news from China are excellent. Everything is nice and rosy. After many months of negotiation with China, we are back to almost starting point. Yay. So honestly, when I've seen the news and like anyone regular, like anyone conventional thinker, first thought was like, okay, we're gonna gap up really hard on Sunday when the futures open. And so far, all I see is a lot of really weak upside action. Is it a trap for bulls? Could be. Are they waiting out until people will go to bed and they will pump the markets during the London session past midnight? Also possible. We traded ES traded 69.50 in after hours last week. We are opening one of the strongest months of the year, November, and by now we should see, or maybe this week we will see potentially some upside, unless it's a trap for bulls. Meanwhile, as you can see, before this stream went live, I already did a couple of trades. Some of them were successful, some were not. Overall, capturing, scalping those points in this area was not easy. It doesn't feel like there are many people actually trading. It feels more like algorithmic whipsaw. Looks like many people are just sitting on their hands and waiting out. They want to see, they are probably waiting till Monday open. Want to see which direction we're gonna go. As you can see, I did try a couple of, here I tried very small short scalp, went from 26091, covered literally 8 points below, and right now it's just wishy-washing, and I don't feel like taking a trade here. I think we either gonna be done for this opening action and we'll be stuck here for a few hours, or I'll take a trade if we get a little bit higher, if we will retest Friday pre-close flush when we pumped for MNQ to 26,120, and for ES we touched 6,900, and then in the last 15 minutes we did pretty good flush, 30 points. That was a good trade for the closing bell. I did trade a little bit on Friday, the last half hour. It was really rough. Because now in retrospective, when you look at this wonderful candle, that is like 25-point candle, it looks like, just short here, close here. No, that was not that easy, especially after this non-stop pump action into final hour and the V-shaped recovery for ES during the middle of the day. That was not easy trade, even if you were on the short side. Let's see how gold is doing these days. Can give us some insights. The gold is heading down. Gold is not capable of holding 4,000, even though it's hovering really close to it. So as the meme says, it's 50-50. We might rip violently up during the gold opening session or even overnight, and we can flush. We can flush 100 points down. Let's see how does it look now on the hourly basis. Okay, if it holds here and reclaims 4,000, yeah, it might continue run. And definitely, like in the long term, gold has a lot of upside potential. The recent report from Bank of America claimed they expect gold to hit 5,000 sometime in 2026. And normally their reports are quite accurate, especially since it's well known that with regards to gold, big banks are capable of controlling or if not manipulating, but at least heavily influencing the price of gold. If you, as a confirmation of my claim, Google JP Morgan and their settlement a few years ago, settlement about in the case which proved that the major banks were involved in manipulation of gold spot prices. Back then they were suppressing gold really hard. These days they might be on the opposite side of the trade and they might let it run and help it, or they might help it run, even though right now, if judging from social media and other news outlets and reports, it's retail that is very much on board of a gold and silver rally. But again, well, if you ask me to trade gold right now, I might put buy order somewhere around 39.80s, 39.75 over here, long, with the stop somewhere 10 points below that, 39.65, with the expectation that overnight gold will try to reclaim 4,000 and touch these areas around 4,050. Okay, meanwhile MNQ is flirting with Friday pre-flush, but unless we have a nice decent spike that might resemble this candle over here, I'm not really interested in shorting it. As well as it doesn't look very attractive at this stage to go long. I mean, yeah, if you were brave enough to buy at the open, 26.20, 26.27, yeah, well, in 1 hour. In 1 hour, it would have been 60 points on MQ, which is really not that impressive. Okay, I'm giving it maybe another 5 minutes to see what happens. With the time change over the weekend, we might be in a situation in which Nikkei market is already open. Let's double check Tokyo time. Yes, thanks to the time change in North America, now Nikkei market, Tokyo markets will be opening at 7 p.m. Eastern or 4 p.m. Pacific time. Let's see how Nikkei is reacting to the China trade deal. Hmm. Okay, had to Google what's going on because the Tokyo markets were supposed to be open by now. It's Monday 9:16 a.m. in Tokyo, and the markets should have been open. Unfortunately, even official Nikkei website was showing that the market is closed, and apparently they have a culture day on Monday, November the 3rd, and therefore the markets are closed.
Order filled.
Apologies if that notification came across as very loud. Really not a big fan having a opening position at 26,100, especially when it's trying to possibly touch 110. I should probably close it. Yeah, close it. Yeah. I'll try selling it off 2610. 169.
Order submitted.
For a pullback down to 2600. Okay, couple more minutes before we will wrap up this test live stream. So I can go back and check for any adjustment that need to be done for audio especially. And if everything goes well, there will be a new live streaming tomorrow morning there when the markets open, possibly even 1 hour before that, especially since the futures these days are being pumped to the high level of during the overnight session, sometimes a few hours before the market opened in New York, and then start flushing down before market open. So it's kind of like premature pump and dump action. So in order not to miss on that, I might launch the stream or start the trading a little bit earlier than 9:30 New York. Because everything on paper points out to potentially interesting Monday and Tuesday.
Order filled.
All right. Little scratch.
Order submitted.
For the sake of, well, this is not the best place to trade. This is more of a test for the live stream to see how it's being captured and how the audio is being recorded, and what the end result will be. looks like it's not gonna pull back even a little bit from this level. Probably the best option is just to exit the position before the next move.
Order filled.
Yeah. So we're waiting for ES to tickle the 6900.
Order filled.
Let's see what are the financial news telling us over the weekend. AI rally and volatility define stock run since Trump's return. Very generic. China to suspend some rare earth curbs. US chip firm probes. AirPods are taking away one of the travel's great opportunities. What does it imply? This headline, I wonder. Does it mean that people no longer engaging in conversations, random conversations with strangers at the airports? That's probably what it means. I have no interest checking it out. Okay, there you go. Not sure if it has the potential to go lower. Then let's close it for now.
Order filled.
Yeah, little scratch. We're just testing the systems here, testing everything works well. The image quality and the sound quality. Oil rises after OPEC Plus says it will pause output hikes next year. Hong Kong dollar bond sales slump as borrowing costs stay high. Yeah. If you ask me that long-term borrowing costs for many governments around the world, even strong ones like China or United States, will go higher. So I don't think in the long run, in the long term, we will ever see 0% or negative, especially negative rates gain, because many governments around the world are running huge deficits, and the only way for them to get money is to issue more debt. And in order for debt buyers to be interested in such a high sustained inflational environment, is only to offer them very interesting and attractive interest rates. That's why long-term US treasuries are not budging, that much below 4%. Short-term, sure. Even with Powell's remarks regarding, okay, let's go buy long, just one contract, just for a scratcher. So yeah, short term, yes, we might have a couple of rate cuts to ease the pain for the government and possibly bringing some relief to corporate bonds maturing next year. So big companies will be able to refinance. But other than that, in the long term, next 20 years, I don't think that we're gonna see low interest rates. All right, let's call it a day.
Order submitted.
Close this on a pop-up. This is really not very serious trading. It's such a snail pace. The MNQ is not reapy at all. ES struggles to even tickle, to even touch 6,900.
Order filled.
There you go. Okay. Well, now let's not forget to close all open orders. Cancel all open orders. Just to make sure that there is nothing is hanging there. And call it a day. Thank you very much for everyone checking this slow Sunday afternoon live stream. I think we will have more exciting times as soon as this week. And based on what was going on in the past 6 months since April, we might very unusual December, which might be not very good for investors and their ability to not to lose their inner peace and night sleep, but it might be very interesting market for aggressive but careful active traders. Over and out.